Hey guys, it's time for our first question from the Global Economy Unit. So last weekend I uploaded a question from microeconomics and a question from macro. So I'm going to do a question from global economy and then I'm going to just keep cycling through the units. Okay, so today's question, are you ready? In an international trade system where there are no barriers to trade, no trade protection, so we are assuming free trade conditions. Explain under what conditions a country is likely to become an importer or an exporter of a product. This is a paper 1, part A, 10-mark essay. So to sum up, in short, basically it depends on the comparative advantage, okay, which is the ability to produce a product at the lowest opportunity cost. If the country holds the comparative advantage, the domestic price of the product will be less than the world price of the product because the country holds the comparative advantage. In that case, the country will be an exporter. Okay, now we have to lump the rest of the world in sort of one category. If the comparative advantage lies with the rest of the world, not with the country, then the domestic price of this product will be higher than the world price. In that case, the country will be an importer of the product. Now, by the way, this analysis applies to each product specifically, right? We're not talking about the country as a whole being an exporter of everything or an importer of everything. It is per product market. Okay, so what does that look like on a diagram? Let's have a look. So here is the exporter diagram, and here is the importer diagram. Now, I told you in the previous slide, if the domestic price of the product, which is basically the interaction of domestic demand and domestic supply, is less than the world price, which is this perfectly elastic world supply curve, then the country will be an exporter. In that case, the domestic suppliers will produce QS, while the domestic consumers will only buy QD. So the difference between QS and QD is the quantity of exports. So remember, QS minus QD is equal to the quantity of exports. And I told you in the previous slide, if the world price is lower than the domestic price, okay, again, it's the intersection. Domestic price is the intersection of domestic demand and domestic supply. If the world supply curve is below this domestic equilibrium, the country will be an importer. Now, this is for a very specific market. So remember, it's not like the whole economy exports everything or imports everything. This is for a specific market. So this could be the market for, I don't know, corn, and this could be the market for electronics. Okay, if the world price is below the domestic price, the country will be an importer. Okay, the intersection of the world supply curve and the domestic supply curve gives us the quantity that domestic producers are selling, while the intersection of the world supply curve and the domestic demand curve gives us the quantity that domestic consumers are buying. Now, if domestic producers are selling QS and domestic consumers are buying QD, then there must be buying it from somewhere else that's buying it from the rest of the world. So this is the quantity of imports. So remember, the quantity of imports is QD minus QS. This is the quantity of imports. Now, as I said in the previous slide, what determines whether domestic price will be below the world price or above it is the comparative advantage. If the comparative advantage lies within the country, it will be an exporter because this product will actually be cheaper to produce in the country and therefore it will end up exporting it. But if the comparative advantage lies with the rest of the world, in that case, the country will be an importer. I hope you found this useful. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a member to access exclusive content. Buy me a coffee to say thanks. And I hope you have a great week. And I'll see you again next weekend. Bye.